Sunday, the wild card of this entire story, and who I like to call the most benched character of this whole Amphoreus arc. The once most revered and feared man in the entire Penacony dreamscape, now reduced to a simple path strider traveling along the Astral Express with no direction and entirely out of his depth. Which is an integral part of his character arc, since the entire reason why he wished to plunge the Penacony dreamscape into an eternal dream was because of his own crippling addiction to the idea of control that manifested itself as his fascination with the path of the Order. And what if I told you that it may be these exact ties that come in clutch in the future Amphoreus story? Because we have talked about the potential of March 7th, Cyrene, Dan Heng, and even Castellana, but until now, I have neglected to talk about the one actor who has yet to take the stage. The actor who has all the reason in the world to do so, Sunday. Because in this video, I want to address the sheer amount of untapped potential Sunday has in this story, because trust me, it gets pretty shocking. So strap in, because once again, we are in for a wild ride. Because this is the wild card of Amphoreus revealed. Okay. So as we know, Dan Heng has returned to the Astral Express under the care of Screwlum, and Iron Tomb cannot locate his whereabouts. So it is all but confirmed that he made it back to the Express safely. And what we can glean from this is the fact that he will be returning along with Express crew reinforcements to help us. And as much as I would love the Welt Yang, Himiko, Herta, Screwlum, and Black Swan all showing up in an Avengers Assemble moment to take down Iron Tomb, that probably won't happen. But what can feasibly happen with what we know about how the Express crew likes to do things is that only 2 or 3 will be sent to Amphoreus while the others maintain contact with the outside world. Penacony not included in the pattern since that was supposed to be a vacation. So I imagine that we will be getting Dan Heng, Sunday, and hopefully either Black Swan or Welt Yang, since Himiko is looking after March's body and of course the geniuses are doing their own thing. And in the last video, we already talked about Dan Heng's potential to take over the position of demigod of the earth from Terravox. Black Swan is a memo keeper of the Remembrance and is clearly a huge boon to our efforts to defeat Iron Tomb. We already know well enough already how much trouble the Remembrance path gives Lygus as well as Iron Tomb, and Welt Yang is just him. But what is Sunday's role in all of this? Well, this is where things get complicated, because now we gotta talk about my favorite path, the Harmony. Because this path is not normal. The destruction is simple, the Remembrance has a lot of documentation, the erudition is consistent, and then there's the Harmony. And of course, Sheepe, the multi-faced Aeon of breaking rules that assimilated another Aeon into themselves, and no one really knows how they did that, with emanators that are just them, and somehow one of them as an individual died and also became a Lord Ravager. And let's just say that just like Fu Li, Sheepe's description also includes the word enigmas, and for good reason. But I think you'll get the point better if I just explain Sheepe's chaotic harmony through Sunday's potential. So first things first, Sunday is a Holovian, a race often described as subjects of the Harmony that have quite the natural aptitude for being Harmony Pathstriders. They also have terrifying telepathic abilities, as all Holovians are said to be able to read minds from up to 10 feet away. And we have already seen the effects of Robin's tuning ability that she uses to change a person's state of mind, kinda like how our clockwork works, as well as Sunday's incantation that he used to nearly kill Aventurine. But this gets really dangerous when you realize that that's not all of what these guys can do. Because the maximum potential of a Holovian has yet to be seen, since they don't really need to be violent if they can just manipulate people. However, according to this Penacony tabloid, strong Holovian Pathstriders can use psychic abilities to either stun a person or reduce their intelligence to 0. And even if this is an exaggeration, that is something that you don't want to mess with. And remember, this is just the potential of a strong Holovian Pathstrider. We aren't even beginning to talk about the former spokesman of the Penacony dreamscape that nearly plunged it and everyone in it into an eternal dream. Someone who we have seen make people forget they've ever seen him, with so much as a glance. And speaking of dreams, Amphoreus is pretty much one big dreamscape filled with memories. Cyrene even referred to the eternal recurrence as a long dream. And there is no one other than Black Swan with more mastery over all things involving dream worlds than Sunday. And Amphoreus, just like Penacony, is filled to the brim with memoria, meaning that Sunday would likely feel right at home here. Which brings us to how he can be very useful in Amphoreus, because this suggests that the same techniques he would use in the Penacony dreamscape can be used here, which means that the illusions he used to mask his presence in Penacony in the 2.7 story are also going to be in play. So even though no one in this world is going to be used to seeing a guy with wings growing out of his head, that's likely not what they will be seeing. And whether this can fool Lygus or not, we don't know. That robot's knowledge of the paths is spotty at best. He can sense Herta's connection to the erudition as well as Dan Heng's connection to the permanence, but bro has no clue about the remembrance and actively avoids even talking about it. And so far, the only person able to see through Sunday's illusion was Welt Yang. But again, Welt is him, so he's an outlier. And Sunday was able to mask his as well as Wan Week's identity the entire time, effortlessly throughout the entire story. So who's to say that his harmony abilities can't make sure the Express crew makes it back into Amphoreus undetected by Iron Tomb? Food for thought. So we've established that Sunday's connection to the harmony and his experience in the dreamscape gives him a huge advantage in dealing with a world of memories like Amphoreus. But this in fact isn't his only weapon. Yes, even though his telepathic bag of harmony tricks is incredibly versatile and deep, Sunday isn't done yet. Because now we gotta talk about the power of the Order that now resides in the path of the harmony. And at first when I was looking into this power, I wrote this off as just more harmony abilities. But then I saw something that had me side-eyeing the entire path of the harmony in general, because a faction known for following the Order is called the Beyond the Sky Choir. And as you all know, I do not believe in coincidences, because I'm sure you guys remember Lygus prattling on about the Prime Mover of Life, right? Well, what if I told you that the Beyond the Sky Choir has their own perception of the Prime Mover of Life? And that was the resounding harmony of Anna the Order, and through their utterance creations materialized. And as suspicious as this strange overlap is, you would think, oh, but the Order has been gone for a long time. What influence could this power have over Amphoreus? Well, this is where things get even more crazy, because the Beyond the Sky Choir is also known for their record discs. There's even a curio for it, Record from Beyond the Sky, where we learned that these discs could only be played on specific phonographs. And the last of the phonographs were destroyed in the Machine Emperor's Wars. The overlap is crazy, because the Machine Emperor's War was Rupert 1 and 2's empire at work that resulted in the creation of the Scepters, the Scholar's Strife, and now Iron Tomb, meaning that the Order could also have a path counterpart in Amphoreus along with the Harmony. Because remember, Long is gone too, so even dead paths are fair game to Iron Tomb, giving a twofold relevance to Sunday's potential to turn Amphoreus upside down. This is why I say that this Halovian Pathstrider of the Harmony has all the reason to take center stage. The Memoria, the fact that this entire world is basically a dream, his natural telepathic abilities, the Harmony's infinitely deep bag of tricks, as well as the Order's power, all points towards Sunday's untapped potential to at the very least be a major thorn in Iron Tomb's side and a huge boon to our efforts in combating the Black Tide in this cycle, or even simply convincing the Chrysos heirs to join us in diffusing potential conflicts that Lygus or Elder Kindness are sure to cause. And to be honest, this even works towards Sunday's redemption arc, because Sunday hasn't truly gotten his redemption for his actions in Penacony. But get this, even for the sake of his character arc, in creating the Eternal Dream, he would have been stealing the futures of countless people in Penacony, denying them what it means to live and progress for the sake of ensured safety. And what better way to redeem himself than to work for the side fighting to give the Amphoreus people a new, true future. A future that would make them real people, no longer strings of data and memory, actual individuals capable of achieving a future and realizing what it means to live. The culmination and showcase of his evolution as a person, fighting to free those he used to see as weak. All of this coming full circle to break open this cycle, truly becoming the hero he thought himself to be back in Penacony. Point being, Sunday is the wild card of this story that I am so hyped to finally be put in play. Because no one is talking about this guy, everyone is sleeping on the master of the dreamscape, but I see his potential and I hope you do too, because this is the wild card of Amphoreus revealed. I sincerely hope that Sunday gets some time to shine in this story. Bro has been benched this entire time, and I just can't shake the feeling that he joined the Astral Express team for a reason. He wanted to learn how to not be in control, and now he has the perfect opportunity to do the opposite of what he did in his homeland, which would be absolute cinema. There are so many possibilities in this story, and I still feel like we are far from the end. Amphoreus could go in so many different directions, and it seems that all of our friends are getting buffs, so what about a buff to Sunday's character, right? I for one still think he needs a hero moment to fully establish that he is a changed man, and Amphoreus is the perfect stage for the debut of a harmonious Peon of Era Nova. But what do you guys think? Be sure to let me know, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace, y'all.